global economy. I'm going to speak in detail about how Russia is operating under these conditions and how Russia plans its development in this ever-changing situation. 1.5 years ago, when I spoke at the Davos Forum, I talked about that the Unipolar world order is over, and that's something that I would like to start with, because we can't avoid it. It is over, despite all the attempts to preserve it with any means possible. And it is only natural, because changes are natural for history, because civilizational diversity of the planet, the richness of cultures, is hard to combine with the political, economical, or other patterns, because it is not going to work. Because they are being imposed, those templates being imposed by one center, because this idea is flawed. When there is one strong country with a limited circle of other states that are allowed to be in this circle, and all the ideas of the foreign affairs, of trade turnover, is only interpreted within the interests of this one state. They only work one way. They only play in one direction, towards one goal. And such world will not be stable. The United States, after declaring victory in the Cold War, they declared themselves the messengers of the God on earth, who has no obligations but only interests. And these interests are to be considered sacred. And it's hard not to notice that in the recent decade on the planet we have new powerful centers. And each of them are developing their own political systems and civic societies. They are implementing their models of economic development, and they have the right to protect these models and to protect their sovereign interests. We are talking about objective things, about revolutionary tectonic shifts in the geopolitics and global economy, in technology, and the entire system of international relations, where we see ever-growing role of the dynamically developing, promising countries and the regions whose interests cannot be ignored anymore. And these changes are fundamental, and they can't be turned back. And it would be a mistake to think that the time of the changes can be forgotten, that everything will go back to the way it was. It will never happen. But it seems that the ruling elites of certain Western countries, they still have this illusion. They do not want to see obvious things. They try to live in the shadow of the past. They still think that the domination of the Western politics is something that will never change, that is something eternal, but there is nothing is eternal. And our colleagues, they don't just deny the reality, they try to counter the path of history. They think of the things that are left in the past century. They are hostages of their illusions. I'm talking about the golden billion countries, and they think that everything else is their backyard, and they still treat them as their colonies. And the peoples who live there, they consider second-rate people, because they think they are exclusive. If they are exclusive, then everyone else is the second-rate people. That's why they want to punish, they want to exert pressure on everyone who wants to stand out, who doesn't want to listen to them. And they boorishly try to impose their ideas about culture, about ethics, about history, that put under doubt the integrity and sovereignty of the states, put under threat their existence. Just remember Yugoslavia, Syria, Libya, and Iraq.